So,
Yep.
and I
Yeah.
will,
I've
and
Yep,
I
seen the
there. I
live
see the
stream.
video now. This live event will
Neat.
start in 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is a little bit of a delay. So I guess we will. And
Yeah.
Ooh. Is that normally the banner photo for it too? The Mackinac of the Aurora?
yeah, because
Yeah,
that's
that's pretty.
the channel's always been had that banner. So it just throws that banner in there, and then it goes to the live stream.
The question
It's a
is
cool
who
way to have a
wants to
welcome room.
drive?
I
Well,
can still. I've got everything up.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, look, Jesse's already here. That's funny. I'll say hello. I love it when people are already waiting.
I know, God, that was fast.
Yeah. So yeah. Regardless, what I'm gonna say, we're gonna give this a couple minutes here to cook before we jump into the daily discussion of the mess that we
The
have.
late night discussion.
The very late night discussion of solar wind mess. But you know, that's what happens when you go from Europe to California, basically. I'm just a mess.
So let's see, that's a 9 hour difference.
Yeah, it's pretty. I'm finally caught. Like I finally am on a normal clock right now because I've had several nights of decent sleep here.
That
Mm.
only took you what, 2 weeks?
Yeah,
Almost?
but it's been, I've been just doing all these different things. So, but I
Yeah.
was gonna blur the background, but I thought it was. Is it back? I think it's backwards though. But it
No,
says
it's forward here.
in Los Angeles, everyone's a star.
That's because there are no stars in the sky there.
You're right. It's not.
Gotta
There's
have some
not.
stars.
But I thought it was fitting. It tells you where I am, so I left it. Oh, yeah, hello and good
Have you
night. Yes,
taken
pretty much.
a list of where you've done the stream from,
I know
all the
because it's kind
places?
of it's kind
I'd
of
be
been all
very
over the place.
curious,
Yeah, I know we did it from here last year too.
We
probably.
should have
Mm.
we should have a map.
We should because this is kind of unique with this live stream stuff because I don't know too many people that actively travel while they're trying to live stream. But here we are, and I apologize for my voice being screwed up. So, you know. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon. Yeah, yeah, from Tasmania. I love that this is actually probably a better time for them.
Yeah, little later in the morning.
Yeah, a little later. Like, so this is kind of
Except
fun.
it's a weekday. But then again.
Yeah. You know,
Oh
it's
yeah, it
fun.
is
Hmm.
Tuesday.
But anyway, I think we've
Wednesday.
yeah,
Wednesday there.
I think we've bantered long enough. There's enough people here, so we'll get into our mess of solar wind data that we're gonna go over because we have what was the list? A transient, a
A little bit of
CIR,
everything.
a coronal
Yeah,
hole.
pretty much everything short of full-blown CME.
Yeah, all the things except that. So we have lots to talk about, lots to disseminate, and I guess we're going to talk solar cycle first because that seems to be a hot topic right now. Because
Hmm.
so we're going to start there.
It's cool to see it's a hot topic. I'm not seeing it on any like Facebook stuff yet,
Yeah,
but I assume it's coming up in the chats you guys are in and such.
yeah. Well, it's like, oh yeah, it's 3 p.m. in the eastern side of Australia. Yeah, it's daytime there. I love it. You guys are the best. So here we go. Here's our solar weather update. The what do we call this? The March to solar minimum or the
Yeah, I really, really like the title. Oh, shoot, I want to go back,
yeah.
but
Look at
so props Tanya on that
yeah.
title. I really like that.
Road to
Road
solar
to solar
minimum.
minimum, because that's where we're going.
Yep.
Yeah. So we got lots of simple regions and C-class flares. And I mean, obviously, if we could still get big events from this because like we did 2 weeks ago with, complex spots. But you get more coronal holes, So yeah, it's not like nothing's happening. But that's kind
Gotta
of
say,
cool
sunspot
fact.
wise, it's looking pretty boring. But yeah, coronal
Yeah.
hole wise, we got lots of fun activity and different polarity changes in different areas of the sun now, and lots of zigzags.
Zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. So there
And
we
I
go.
think I'm still recovering from the jet lag because I've been waking up at 3 a.m. and making mistakes and on the slides. So obviously we have two kernel holes that are fairly contiguous with each other.
Oh, I did
They're
notice it wasn't
Yeah,
both
typed
a
in.
yeah.
positive polarity, and it's kernel hole 98 and 99,
Nine.
which is probably just one big kernel hole with that anemone region
It's
in
an
between them.
anemone.
It
Anemone.
is. It is.
I kind of
It's
like how you just
cute.
left it CH mystery.
It's a kernel hole.
Oh,
Um, yeah.
Well, because after this one, now we get to go back to 00.
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. We're going back to kernel hole one after
Ooh.
that. So I corrected things on the slides. Safe to go back there if we want to. Um,
Here we go.
Look at that.
Yay.
Real
Now that
time,
makes
real
more
time
sense.
correction.
Yay. So they're both or one of positive polarity. There with that spot in between. Yay, there we go. That spot in between probably obscuring the connection between them. And we do have an SDO image. An SDO is still out, but
At least for the
the images
website.
images
Yeah.
are available, but the site is still out. And it's transequatorial, so we probably going to see less of the bumpy ride, as could be expected with this configuration of coral holes. We're sitting somewhat kind of looking slightly above the equator by a few degrees, I think. So we're probably going to have less of the bumps here and there and just very fast solar wind, which is what we're seeing right now. But
Yeah.
otherwise, it's pretty boring. All the fun is happening on the other side, and there's
As per
CMEs
usual.
that are
Hmm.
happening. I can't complain. 2 weeks ago, we had plenty of fun on our side. It's
For the
just
first time in a while.
now
That is
it's
true.
it's going the other way.
Oh,
Hopefully those regions survive or the new ones will pop up, but that side is pretty much occupied by a coral hole. So nothing else is happening.
We do have
And
some solar
yay,
cycle updates, though.
we
I like this
do.
one.
Yeah, and you can tell that it is a double peak cycle, although the peaks are close together. So if you see things out there that are claiming that second peak is coming, we're done. We are done with both peaks for both hemispheres. What we might see is slight bumps with slightly higher number of active regions with a kind of solar surges that are 11 to 12 month cycles. So you could see it in the previous solar cycle. It's like every 11 to 12 months, there is sort of a bump and then it goes down again. And then there is another bump and then goes down again. And that kind of continues during solar max and solar minimum, actually. There are some months of higher activity. So we're going to continue to see that. It just the number won't be as high. Not going to get to the same number of sunspots and not going to get to the same number of active regions that, well, we'll get there too. But yeah, this is original. The green line is originally what was predicted, and the red line is what we're seeing now. So red line is actually smooth, meaning it's sort of running average of the number of sunspots, and the actual number is being tracked for a month is being tracked by the gray line. So we're clearly looking at a surge right now.
Yeah, that's a very giant zag coming back up. In fact, it might lift the smooth sunspot number just a little bit over time. That's
Yep,
going to be kind of funny. I don't know
just
why
a
we
little
still
bit.
have the original SWIP-C prediction. It's been useless for the beginning. Honestly, it hasn't been a good baseline to go by for any
maybe it's
reason.
to add insult to injury.
Ah,
Hmm.
I don't know.
I hope Sean's not watching. Sorry,
I
bud.
hope not.
It
That's
wasn't John. It was
yeah,
actually a consensus panel. It was
right.
a lot of experts in heliophysics who basically said this is what we're going to see out of the sun.
Oh, I
And
mean, for
some
SWIP-C
said,
keeping another website.
and some basically said, "Yeah, that's not happening."
Wrong.
Yep.
So I've got a different list up here too. I'm not going to go into huge detail because it is a little complex with all the
Yeah,
lines there.
explain
But
this.
What we're mostly seeing and looking at is this side over here. This is the polar field strength for the sun. It's another factor that sometimes people use to help decide A, how strong the next cycle is going to be, although it's not always that accurate, and B, how close to maximum we are. Basically, when the sun is in a solar minimum completely, the poles are at their strongest strength. So you're going to see red line here is southern hemisphere, blue line is northern. You're going to see they peak during their solar minimum times. When it's solar maximum, they reverse their polarities, as I'm sure some of you have heard when it comes to solar maximum. You have positive going to negative and vice versa in the other hemisphere. Well, when that happens, this crosses to zero and then it starts increasing in strength again. So my main point that I wanted to bring up was that the northern field here, blue line, hit zero, as in it went to neutral, and then swapped over in about May of 2023. Interestingly enough, the northern field actually stayed neutral for almost a year before it really started increasing in strength back towards the negatives. But the southern hemisphere and the average of the two all flipped roughly the same time. So we had more so September of 2023. This is usually a pretty good indicator too as to the sunspot maximums, which then follow anywhere from 6 to 12 months later. But you always end up having the field reversals generally take course first before you get to the actual sunspot max. So for the sunspots, for example, our smooth sunspot maximum, that average number that Tanya was talking about, hit 160.9 in October of 2024. Highest individual, although I didn't put it in here, was August of 2024, where the sunspot number went well over 200.
Yeah, that's right.
Which yeah is very impressive. We didn't really see that much, if rather at all, in cycle 24. But the point is, we are well now. The fields have reversed fully. They are beginning to increase in strength. The average is dropping again, which all implies yes, we are very much on the way to solar minimal. I like that graph specifically. This is the star report, so I know I don't mention them a lot anymore. I used to mention them like once a stream, I feel like. So this is
Yeah.
taking the WSO polar field measurements and kind of cleaning it up and giving us some benchmarks as to, okay, northern field reversed here, southern and average here. Here's our sunspot maximum and our sunspot minimums over here, that kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Hmm.
All right. So we are approaching, or not quite approaching, but we are starting to see signs that solar minimum is coming. This is a butterfly diagram. So yeah, those are the sunspots, and that's where they are. So we are starting at fairly high latitudes to begin with, for the beginning of the solar cycle, and that slowly goes very, very close toward equator, and that would be the basically solar minimum. Not that many spots. So the previous cycle, they kind of approached the ecliptic, the equator. We're not quite there yet. So we still got quite a few months to go, but we're starting to see polar coronal holes. So those are coronal holes, but they're sitting on the opposite poles. They tend to be fairly stable and they tend to persist. They do send offshoots into lower latitudes, and that's when we get aurora during solar minimum from those coronal holes, from extension of the polar coronal holes. But they're starting to establish themselves. So that's kind of new and not necessarily exciting for us, but that's just how progression goes for the solar cycle. They are surrounded by crown filaments. So we're starting to see those too. They are regular filaments. They appear as prominences when you look at the sun from the side. So you will see them. You'll see the outline of them, and they can erupt. And recently we had an eruption that happened on the north, and then another filament lifted off on the south. So both crown filament just lifted off. Not are directed, obviously. It's going somewhere else. It's not coming to us at all. But it was pretty cool eruption. So
Those filaments
that's
are
coming.
huge.
And that also tells you that those coronal holes, polar coronal holes, they're not entirely stable yet. So they're still kind of working themselves out because the filaments are going. But it's gonna come. It's coming. No denying it. Another sign is actually stealth CMEs. And we've seen quite a few of those. They have, so normal CMEs, they're kind of happen with active regions. You have a lot of magnetic field that's emerging, kind of sticking out from the sun. And those CMEs, they're huge, they're visible, they leave a mark on the sun. We can see them in coronagraphs. Stealth CMEs, you might see a little bit of a dimming. You might see a wisp in coronagraph, but sometimes you don't. And they're coming from higher up, they're coming from higher corona, which is why they're barely visible. They can be mixed with a lot of other things, in which case they do kind of maximize our impact. And we have seen them mixed in, I think with CIR more recently, but they could be mixed in with bigger CMEs, but they can appear on their own too. And that's sort of a big surprise if they are impactful and generate decent storming. That was sort of, well, that was not in the forecast. Solar minimum, there are more of them compared to solar max because active regions are definitely a part of the solar max and descending phase, but we are starting to see more of them. So another another sign. All right. Okay, so this is a general picture of what to expect. So there are a couple of forecasts there. Big one is number of CMEs per year. So this is the top one. And this has a prediction of sunspot numbers by McIntosh, which so far is holding up fairly close to what we're observing. So that's the red line. And also there is a prediction of number of CMEs per year. So again, those are not CMEs that are necessarily flying to us. There might be a big event that's flying toward Venus. And unfortunately, no, we are not booking tickets to fly to Venus or Mars to catch those CMEs, even though that would be nice. We're probably not going to like aurora there. It's mostly ultraviolet. So not particularly spectacular for us, but yes, there is aurora on other planets, and if CMEs go in there, they might catch it. But that also means that we're going to see fewer CMEs over time that are directed, that are Earth directed. And they still happen in solar minimum, so it never goes to zero. There's still a possibility. Um, but we're going to have coronal holes. They're not going anywhere. They're going to be popping up and generating some nice aurora even during solar minimum. And while we are still in that descending phase and still have active regions and CMEs, we're going to see some nasty interactions where geoeffectiveness is increased. So you get a coronal hole, you got a G3 out of it, you get a CME, you got something out of it, you combine the two, or you combine several CMEs like we have seen with recent G4. That was a compound event with two CMEs that joined forces and really beat up our magnetosphere. So the risk of those major events is still fairly high. Also, active regions are slowly coming closer to equator. And what is facing Earth is essentially facing equator. So if their CME is launched, it's more likely to be Earth directed, unless there is a kernel hole in the way, in which case it's going to be going somewhere else. So not just risk of major events that are potentially Earth directed and have a greater potential to be Earth directed, there's also greater risk of deflection. Hopefully it's going to be our luck and something's going to come that's going to generate some nice aurora, but the potential is high for that. So hope for more big events. All right.
What
So,
you said.
and off to, well, who wants to take this one?
The current event.
The current
I
cluster
always
F,
hand it
that
over to
is
him.
our current stuff.
Yep.
Oops. Yeah, it's I mean the boundary change is pretty obvious going from negative to positive, but there are a lot of, I won't say random uplifting. So we have our our transient features that showed up. We've got this little like peak looking thing up here as it came back to the other polarity instead of just going back up quickly. We had this peak here going to, let's see, there we go. So then now we've got the kernel hole and the CIR going through. It's kind of all everything in one, our transient feature. And we only call that a transient because generally the magnetic field is a little smoother than we would normally expect for something as chaotic as a kernel hole or a CIR, especially. This looks like it was probably some sort of feature before it was smashed together by a hole and a sector change. Oh, and then our actual SDO kernel hole as well, which looks like two separate pieces, but I believe 211 shows it a little more fuller. Also, different angles help too, but the idea being is this likely the boundaries are a little wider than what we're looking at as well for 98 and 99, which probably have some sort of close proximity to being one. Let's be honest. Uh, oh, and then yeah, you pretty much covered that too. This
Yep.
is just a remaining summary of we're still going to have some activity. We're not anywhere near done. The frequency of those may decrease, or the severity of those may decrease, but we're still going to have some. It's pretty much the moral as of now. I like this last one too. Solar wind is difficult to interpret. That's just a general statement, but more so when we get everything put into a 24-hour period.
Yep. And definitely focus on what you see now in solar wind. Don't necessarily try to analyze which way it's coming because you don't know what is the driver. It could be one of those stealth CMEs, and yes, it could be a fairly predictable flux rope where you can anticipate that, yep, it's just going to stay south throughout the entire thing, but you don't know how long that entire thing will be. It could be 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. It could flip at any time, and can become fairly erratic at any time. So what you see is what you get. And trying to predict when it's that messy is pretty much exercise in futility. So if you're out chasing and if you're seeing some favorable BZ, go chase Aurora.
Which is really annoying when you're used to having answers for things in your life, and or at least in the field that you're in.
Yeah.
Such is life. Such is life.
Such is
Yep.
life.
But that green line in the plot is current solar cycle. So this is where the average on average, this is where we see those active regions. So they're not quite at the equatorial latitude, so we still have time. But second peak is gone. It's not coming. No matter what you see out there, nope, that claim is just false. We're done. We're done
Only a
peaking.
downhill trek.
Yep.
All
That's
right.
all I have, at
I
least.
feel like I'm dying over here. Sorry.
Oh, you poor thing.
But
After a long day of talking.
yeah, no, it's but yeah, to her point, it's like we're not done yet, but and the whole reason we brought this up because I saw a couple articles that were like talking about a double or the second solar maximum. It's like, no, no, we're past it. But
Yep.
the declining phase typically has or can have some pretty gnarly things happen. So just because we're past it doesn't mean it's the end.
October 2003, September 2014.
Yeah. So those are some prime examples right there because October 2003 was a
Sorry,
big one.
2017.
But like it's kind of like what Tanya says. I mean, these regions are becoming closer and closer to the equator. So that's kind of where we sit. And then they get more mangled. So it's like it actually is, when something does happen there, it tends to be aimed at us, because as long as it's facing us, of course. But
Yep.
so yeah, all is not lost. That's what I wanted to say.
And the coronal holes will stay with us. So they
Yeah.
they will be there and they're They're definitely not disappearing altogether. So they're still pretty reliable, and they're more likely to survive a rotation when there is no active region that's in the middle. It just we have to bear with active regions that are coming closer and kind of crowding out coral holes and breaking them up like we're seeing right now with that irregular shape. But yeah. And I am looking at current data, and it actually kind of got very interesting. We're going to get some active aurora in areas where clouds are not a thing, which is not here.
Or maybe southern latitude isn't a thing, like not here.
Yeah. I won't be, I'm in California, so I won't be chasing.
Oh,
Unless it was like 2 weeks ago.
okay. Sounds like none of us are chasing,
Yeah, so hopefully people in the chat are or will be or
or at
can.
least yeah. So this coronal hole is still of still positive polarity. We are close enough where polarity still matters. So solstice is still not quite here, and positive polarity is favorable for the season. Which means we might see ongoing activity, and it could be sort of some glow that's persisting for as long as that coronal hole is in effect, with flare-ups during substorms. So that's kind of the picture we might see out of this coronal hole. Will we actually see it? Possibly. Time will tell, but there is a potential there.
Okay, I'm back. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with me. I got something, but
Viruses suck.
they kind
Yep.
of do. I will take the fact that I don't really feel that sick. It's just annoying. Annoying.
Best
So,
case scenario.
yeah, except when your job is to talk all day.
Believe me, I get
Yeah.
it.
This might turn into a problem, but we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, I don't think we have really any questions in the chat. I answered the one about stealth
Yeah.
seeing,
Yeah.
but so yeah. Um, I guess we could talk about the big event Saturday with Andy. So please,
Yes.
Ah,
please, if you guys have questions, let us know for Andy because he would love to kind of prepare for this. So just you know, message us, I guess, on Facebook,
Yeah.
on the group or
Yeah.
the page, or
Yeah.
message
Big.
us and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Big reason he
however you can get
wanted
a
to
hold of us.
prepare is if an answer will require a diagram or demonstration that he would be ready to actually show it on the screen.
Yeah.
So,
So yay, Saturday to be a big day. Yeah.
yay.
It's like, yeah, because we all love the Glendale app, so it'll be fun to, actually talk to the creator.
And the app that's been out there for 10 years
Yeah,
and
10 years. Yeah.
and absolutely free of charge, and it works. So
Yeah, so it'll be fun. It'll be a fun
it
time.
will be. All right.
But on that, I guess we'll let y'all have your, well, day back because I think the most people watching are Southern Hemisphere friends that have the afternoon. And then the rest of us are probably gonna go to bed since we're not in
Definitely going to
places to
bed.
chase
Yeah.
Yep.
Aurora. Yeah. But like always, we appreciate you guys. Oh yeah, what time Saturday? What time did we say it was? It was like 10 a.m. my time. But what is it UTC?
I
I'm
think
looking.
it's 1800 UTC.
Okay, 1800 UTC.
I think.
Yeah, I think it's like middle of the day for over or early evening.
1800 UTC? Oh, then it'd be like 3 p.m. here.
Yeah, because I think it's like
Let
early
me
evening for him. But we'll see if we can
5,
find it.
let me
13,
double
1
check.
o'clock. 1 o'clock
Hold that
Eastern.
thought. We will double check.
All that thought. It is, yes, it's 1800 UTC. Confirmed.
So 1 p.m. Eastern and 10 a.m.
For
Yeah,
me.
so that makes sense. Okay, so you had your time right.
Yeah, because I that's all I
Yep.
know. Like, 'cause I had to flip work around to make it work. So we're good. We good. Yay.
Yay.
I'll be
All
here
right.
too.
So on that
Awesome.
note, I'll let you all have your evening back. So thanks for joining us on a Monday, you know, A Monday night, afternoon, different time.
Tuesday night?
It,
Wait, today is
wait,
Monday. Never mind.
it's
I don't know what today is.
Still Monday.
It's
oh my
Monday.
It's
Okay.
God. Yeah. I, s- it's been a long couple
It's
weeks.
almost Tuesday for me.
oh, it's Tuesday in Australia, so
That's
yeah,
true.
it counts.
All right. For
All
real. I
right.
will end this and y'all let y'all have your night back. Thanks for joining and we'll see you all Saturday for a fun one.